Okay. There are various means are available for the measurement and interpolation are like this. Okay. First, the temperature range from minus 259 to minus 0 degrees Celsius. It follows the equation. Okay. R equals to R naught into 1 plus AT plus BT square plus C into T minus 100 plus T cube. You studied the various relations in the numerical problems like that for the measurement of various temperature range. We are having certain interpolation formulas. You have to remember the equation. Okay, approximately you have to remember the values. First range is from minus 259 to minus 0 degree Celsius. Follow the law. R equals to R naught into 1 plus AT plus BT square plus C into T minus 100 plus T cube. Okay, where R naught, A, B, and C are constant values, which are obtained by finding out the resistance at oxygen points, ice points, steam point, and sulfur point respectively. Okay, already you know the ice point and steam point. Meantime, I'll discuss what is oxygen point and sulfur point. So we are going to discuss all these in uh, international temperature scale. Okay, so already we are having the aware of a temperature scale like Celsius scale, Kelvin scale, etc. Like that, we are having international temperature scale. International temperature scale is the one. So based upon that one, we are having certain standard fixed points. Okay, based upon that standard fixed points, we are going to find out and also to measure the temperature of the given system. Second range is from 0 degrees Celsius to plus 630 degrees Celsius, and it is based on the platinum resistance thermometer. Follows the equation R equals to R naught into 1 plus AT plus BT square. Okay, for this temperature range, that is from 0 degrees Celsius to 630 degrees Celsius, follow the equation R equals to R naught into 1 plus AT plus BT square. So R naught, A, and B are constant values which are obtained by computing the resistance at ice point, steam point, and sulfur point respectively. Okay. So next, this is the second range. Okay, I'll explain what do you mean by ice point, what is steam point, what are the sulfur point, what are the oxygen points. Okay, we are going to taking these points as standard points, and we are going to find out the temperature of the given system between the range 0 degrees Celsius to 630.74 degrees Celsius. Okay, and third range. Okay, third range is from 630.74 degrees Celsius to 1064.43 degrees Celsius. First one is minus 259 to plus 0. Second range is 0 degrees Celsius to 630.74. And third range is from 630.74 degrees Celsius to 1064.43 degrees Celsius. Okay. So it is based on measurement of temperature on a standard platinum against a rhodium platinum thermocouple in terms of EMF. Okay. As I said, thermocouple is the device used to measure the temperature above 630 degrees Celsius. Okay, below 630 degrees Celsius, we are going for the different type of thermometers. Okay, for above 630.74 degrees Celsius, we are going to use the thermocouple. Okay, thermocouple. In the thermocouple, EMF, electromotive force, is the thermometric property. As we discussed in the previous class, thermometric property is the property which changes as the temperature in the system changes. Okay, and it follows the equation R equals to A plus BT plus CT square. Okay, where A and B are constant values which are calculated from antimony point, silver point, and gold point respectively. Okay, so these are the standard fixed points adopted in international temperature scale. You remember antimony point, silver point, gold point, etc. are the standard values which are assigned in the international temperature scale. Next, above 1064.43 degrees Celsius, okay, we are having a device called as a radiation pyrometer. Okay, so the pyrometer is used to measure the temperature above 1000 degrees Celsius. Okay, and the intensity of radiation is the thermometric property in the system. Okay, hence this temperature is category is divided into four types. One is minus 259 to 0 degree Celsius. Follow the equation. You have to remember this equation: R into R naught plus 1 plus 80 plus BT square plus C into T minus 100 plus T cube, where A, B, C are standard values, constant values, which are obtained by calculating the oxygen point, ice point, sulfur point respectively. The second is range from 0 degrees Celsius to plus 630.74 degrees Celsius. Follow the equation: R equals to R naught into 1 plus 80 plus BT square, where R naught, A and their constant values computed by knowing the resistance at ice point, steam point and sulfur point respectively. And third range is between 630.74 degrees Celsius to 1064. Follows the law: R equals to A plus A, BT plus CT square, where A, B, C are constant values calculated from antimony point, silver point, and gold point. Above 6064 degrees Celsius, we are going to use the radiation pyrometer, where intensity of radiation is the thermometric property. Okay, so these are the four category. Next, you should know what do you mean by temperature scale, what are the ice point, and what are the steam point. Okay. Temperature scale. Okay, to perform the measurement of temperature, so we need two standard values. Okay, one is ice point and one is the steam point. Okay, first, what is ice point? So ice point is also called as the freezing point. It is defined as temperature of mixture of ice and water which are in equilibrium state at 1 atmospheric pressure and assigned value of 0 degree Celsius in Celsius scale and 32 degree Fahrenheit on Fahrenheit scale. So it is defined as the temperature of mixture of ice and water which are in equilibrium state at 1 atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is 1.0 bar. Okay, approximately 1 bar. Okay, 1 bar is 1 into 10 to the power of 5 Newton per meter square. Okay, that is the atmospheric pressure. And already we know the highest point in a Celsius scale is 0 degree Celsius and 32 degree Fahrenheit on Fahrenheit scale. So based upon this one, we are going to define one more point, standard fixed point called as steam point. Already you solved the problems knowing the ice point and steam point in Celsius scale, Kelvin scale, and Fahrenheit scale. Steam point is defined as the temperature of mixture of water and steam. Okay, water and steam. Mixture of temperature of water and steam which are in equilibrium state. Once again, at saturated pressure, that is at 1 atmosphere pressure, and the standard value of steam point in Celsius scale is 100 degrees Celsius, and it in Fahrenheit scale it is 212 degree Fahrenheit. So these are the two standard points we are going to find out the measurement in order to determine the constant values like A, B, C, D, like that. Okay. So I said we have to remember on general equation, that is T equals to AL plus B. Okay, where T is temperature in degree Celsius, A and B are constant values. We are going to determine the constant values A and B by knowing ice point and steam point, and L is the thermometric property. As the temperature changes, thermometric property, sorry, as the thermometric property changes, temperature changes. So ice point is defined as the temperature of mixture of ice and water. Remember, it is a mixture of ice and water, so which are in equilibrium state at 1 atmospheric pressure, and the standard value is 0 degree Celsius and 32 degree Fahrenheit. Steam point is defined as the mixture of temperature of water and steam, okay, which are in equilibrium state. Already we know the equilibrium state, thermodynamic equilibrium state, which are in equilibrium state at 1 atmosphere pressure, and standard value for steam point is 100 degrees Celsius and 212 degree Fahrenheit. So sometimes they may ask to define the term ice point and steam point. Okay. Now, one more standard point is there called as triple point. Okay, how we are having a ice point and steam point, like that we are having one more standard definition is called as a triple point. Okay, triple point is defined as it is a state at which the solid, liquid, and vapor phases of water exist in equilibrium condition. Okay, so all the three phases like solid, liquid, and vapor phases of water coexist in equilibrium state. And remember, the standard value of triple point is 0.01 degrees Celsius. You remember as a standard point. So most of the time ask, okay, differentiate between triple point and steam points, triple point and ice point like that. Okay, so you should know the proper definition of these three terms. Okay, one is ice point. It is the temperature of mixture of ice and water which are in equilibrium state at 1 atmospheric pressure. Okay, and the value is 0 degrees Celsius. And steam point is the temperature of mixture of water and steam which are in equilibrium state at 1 atmospheric pressure, and the value is 100 degrees Celsius. Like that, we are having one more definition. Triple point is the state at which solid, liquid, and vapor phases of the water coexist in equilibrium condition. Okay, the value of 0.01 is assigned as triple point of water. Okay, now we'll discuss a different temperature scale. Okay, first one is Kelvin scale. Okay, and representation is K in the notation. Actually, we are going to represent it as K, and Celsius is degrees Celsius. Like that, Kelvin is represented by symbol capital K. In the Kelvin scale, ice point is 273.15 and steam point is plus 100, that is 373.15 Kelvin, and triple point of water is 273.15 plus 0.01. You get 273.16. These are the standard values in Kelvin scale. First one is ice point 273.15. Second one is steam point, that is 373.15. And third one is triple point of water is 273.16. Next, Celsius scale. Okay, so these are the three standard points you should remember. One is ice point, one is steam point, and another one is triple point. And already we came across the Celsius scale. So ice point is 0 degrees Celsius, steam point is 100 degrees Celsius, and triple point is 0.01 degrees Celsius. This is a standard, already we know. So apart from these two scales, we are having two more scales like Fahrenheit scale and Rankine scale. Okay, Fahrenheit scale, so not widely used because from 1968 onwards, the international temperature scale that exists. Okay, and this international temperature scale based upon the standard fixed point. Okay, I'll explain in the next slide. Okay, Fahrenheit scale. Ice point is 32 degree Fahrenheit, steam point is 212 degree Fahrenheit, and triple point of water is 32 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, these are the standard values in Fahrenheit scale. Okay, and Rankine scale. Rankine scale. So it is not widely used. Mainly, we are coming across the Celsius scale and Kelvin scale, sometimes Fahrenheit scale. Okay, it is absolute scale and it's not much widely used. Okay, so just you remember, ice point is 491.67 and represented by capital R. How we are going to represent Celsius C, then Fahrenheit F, Kelvin K, like that. Rankine scale is represented by the symbol capital R. Ice point is 491.67, steam point is 671.67, and triple point of water is 491.69 R. Okay, so mainly remember Celsius scale, Kelvin scale, and Fahrenheit scale. Okay, not much widely used Rankine scale. Okay, these are the values: ice point, steam point, and triple point of water. Okay. And now we discussed four temperature scale. Okay. Next, we are having the most important part is the international temperature scale. Okay. International Temperature Scale. It was adopted at the 7th General Conference of Weights and Measures held in 1927. Okay, first time it was adopted in the year 1927, which is in 7th General Conference of Weights and Measures. And in 1968, slight modifications were introduced. And now it is well adopted standard scale of practice. Okay, from 1968 onwards, the International Temperature Scale is in existence. Okay, and you remember this International Temperature Scale, it is based on fixed point. Okay, fixed point, as I said, ice point is one fixed point, steam point is another fixed point. Like that, we are having so many fixed points. Okay, now these are the some primary points for the International Practical Temperature Scale. Okay, so already we know triple point of water is 0.01 degree Celsius. Okay, this is a standard value. Like that, we are having so many points, so which are used to measure the temperature for various system. Okay, mainly please remember this triple point of water. Okay, so, and normal boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Triple point of oxygen is -218. A normal boiling point of oxygen is, as we discussed in the scale, oxygen point is nothing but the normal boiling point of oxygen, -182.97 degrees Celsius. In the previous slide, I discussed. Okay, see. See, the range from -259.34 degrees Celsius to -0 degrees Celsius, oxygen point is used as a standard point. Oxygen point means we are going to take the triple point of oxygen and the boiling point of oxygen as a standard fixed point. So which are adopted in the International Temperature Scale. Okay, oxygen point, which is used to measure the temperature in the range of -259 to 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, triple point of oxygen, normal boiling point of oxygen. Next, triple point of water is a standard value, 0.01 degrees Celsius. Normal boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. A normal boiling point of sulfur, this is called a sulfur point. That is, boiling point of sulfur is called as sulfur point, 444 degree Celsius. Normal freezing point of zinc is 419.58 degrees Celsius. Normal boiling point of antimony. Okay, just now we discussed in the previous slide. Okay, antimony point is used as a standard point. Okay, so which temperature range that is antimony point? Okay, you see. So the range from 630.74 degrees Celsius to 1064 degrees Celsius. The antimony point. So antimony point, what we are discussing, which is adopted in the International Temperature Scale, antimony point. Okay, antimony point, which is used as a standard point to measure the temperature in the range of 630.74 degrees Celsius to 1064 degrees Celsius. You remember these are called as international fixed points. Okay, international fixed points are the normal boiling point of water, normal boiling point of sulfur, normal freezing point of zinc, and then normal melting point of antimony is 630, and we are having normal melting point of silver is 960, and even gold is higher than that of silver, that is 1063 degrees Celsius. So we are having the gold point. It's nothing but normal melting point of the gold is 1063, which is used to measure the temperature. You see, gold point above 6064.4 degrees Celsius, the gold point is nothing but normal melting point of the gold is used as a standard fixed point to measure the temperature above 1064 degrees Celsius, and radiation pyrometer is the instrument used to measure the temperature above 1064.64 degrees Celsius. Yeah. Any doubts? Okay. Any doubts, guys? Are you following? Good. Okay. So just you have to remember the temperature range. So what type of the instrument is used? What are the standard fixed points are used in that scale? Okay. So based upon this one, so we are going to divide it. Mainly they used to ask, what do you mean by the international fixed point? Okay, international fixed points are ice point, steam point, and then triple point. You have to define the term: ice point, steam point, normal melting point of oxygen, then boiling point of oxygen, next melting point of antimony, melting point of silver, melting point of gold. Okay, these are the international fixed points, okay, which are adopted in the year 1968. Okay. Sometimes they may ask, okay, explain the international temperature scale. So you have to explain, okay. No need to remember all the values. Just you remember the important values like ice point, steam point, normal uh, boiling point of water. These are the things. So the remaining thing, no need to remember. Just remember the important. And based upon that one, so we are going to use the various instruments. Okay, in the previous class, we are discussing with two instruments. That is, one is mercury in glass thermometer, and second one constant volume gas thermometer. So in this class, I'll discuss two more experiments. Okay, so based upon these two temperature range, one is okay, thermocouple. As I said, thermocouple is an instrument used the temperature in the range of 630.74 to 1064 degrees Celsius. Okay, we are going to use the thermocouple. So you see the diagram. Okay, so when this is the construction of thermocouple, so we are having the two junction. One is hot junction and one is the cold junction. One cold junction is also called as a reference junction, and hot junction is also called as measuring junction. And remember, we are having two dissimilar metal wires. Okay, two dissimilar metal wires connected to voltmeter, and the heat source is supplied externally. So this is simple construction. So two dissimilar metals. When the two dissimilar metals were joined at the two junction, that is, one is hot junction and one is the cold junction, and which are maintained at a different temperature. Okay, by knowing the temperature of one junction, the temperature of other junction can be easily measured in terms of electromotive force. Okay, for once we know the temperature of one junction, we can easily measure the temperature of another junction in terms of electromotive force, as the voltmeter is connected between the two wires. Okay, then so when the two dissimilar metals A and B, we can call it as A and B, are joined at their ends. Okay, then that we can call it as the temperature T1 is the temperature of the hot junction, and temperature T2 as the temperature of the cold junction. Next, and whenever you join the two wires, okay, then it produces electromotive force E. Okay, and this is the standard formula. Okay, you remember standard formula is T of E, that is the temperature of the whatever the temperature we want to measure, that is given by the formula T equals to 273.16. Okay, what is 273.16? It is the triple point. Okay, so the triple point of the water, 273.16 in the bracket E divided by ETP. Okay, ETP are the thermometric properties. E is electromotive force, and then electromotive force of the triple point. This is a standard point, and E is the electromotive force what we are obtaining experimentally. Okay, and ETP is whatever the value at triple point. So by knowing these two values, we can easily calculate the temperature of the other end. Okay, we are knowing the temperature of one end. Okay, so our aim is to find out the temperature of the other junction in terms of electromotive force. When two dissimilar metals are joined at the two junction and then they are connected to the voltmeter and supplied the heat externally, it produces electromotive force. Then we are going to measure the temperature. As I said here, electromotive force, EMF, is the thermometer property. So don't make confusion between thermodynamic and thermometric property. Thermodynamic property is the property by which the physical condition of a thermodynamic system can be described. So examples are pressure, volume, and temperature. On the other hand, thermometric property is a property it used as a measure of the temperature. Okay, as the temperature changes in the system, thermometric property also changes. Okay. So here, as we said, discussed two thermometers. So it is one is the mercury in glass thermometer. In the mercury glass thermometer, thermometric property is a rise in the length. That's why we are going to represent it as L, and the unit of rise of length is our centimeter. Okay. And in constant volume gas thermometer, as I said, the volume of the system remains constant. The pressure is the thermometric property. Okay. In the third system, that is thermocouple, you remember constant volume gas thermometer and uh, mercury in glass thermometer are mainly used for the low temperature range. This thermocouple is an instrument used to measure the temperature in the range of 630.74 to 1064.73 degrees Celsius, and electromotive force is the thermometric property, and you have to explain this one with a sketch. So this is the sketch. So you have to show two dissimilar metal wires. The heat source is supplied, measuring junction, and the reference junction. The voltmeter is connected in between. So fourth instrument is our the electric resistance thermometer. So electrical resistance thermometer, as I said, so it follows the equation R equals to R naught into 1 plus AT plus BT square. Okay. It was first developed by Siemens in the year 1871. So you remember these are the various temperature measuring devices. Mainly we are coming across the thermometers and thermocouples. Okay, resistance thermometer. Only the difference is that difference in the change in the thermometer property. It was first developed by scientist Siemens in the year 1871. The another name for electrical resistance thermometer is platinum resistance thermometer. Okay, as I discussed, okay, in the temperature range, okay, resistance thermometer, you see, so the range from 0 degrees Celsius to 630.74 degrees Celsius, we are going to use a platinum resistance thermometer. Okay, so R equals to R naught into 1 plus AT plus BT square. So what I discussed this. So this temperature range follows the interpolation. R equals to R naught into 1 plus AT plus BT square, where R naught and A and B are the standard values, computing the resistance at ice point, steam point, and sulfur point. Sulfur point, as we discussed, is the melting point of sulfur. Okay, so the resistance thermometer, so mainly used to measure the temperature in the range of 0 to 630.74 degrees Celsius. From 630.74 degrees Celsius to 1064, we are using the thermocouple, and above 1064 degrees Celsius, we are using the radiation pyrometer as the temperature measuring instrument. So, and you remember this electrical resistance thermometer works on the principle of Wheatstone bridge. Okay, a Wheatstone network already you studied. So in this thermometer, temperature change causes the change in the resistance of a metal wire, which is thermometric property. The thermal EMF, electromotive force, is the thermometric property in the thermocouple. Like that, we are having the resistance of a metal is the thermometric property in electrical resistance thermometer. So as the temperature changes, which causes the change in resistance of a metallic wire, which is the thermometric property. Okay, and it is also used as a standard for calibrating other instruments. And one more important thing is it measures the temperature to a high degree of accuracy, and it is more sensitive in nature. Okay, so whenever they ask explain the various temperature measuring devices, so you have to explain, and sometimes particularly they will give explain the concept of electrical resistance thermometer, thermocouple, next mercury in glass thermometer, and constant volume gas thermometers. So you have to explain that one. Okay. Next, it follows the law R equals to R naught into 1 plus AT plus AT square, where R naught is platinum wire resistance when it is immersed in the melting ice, and A and B are the constant values. Okay. So okay, so this circuit diagram you have to study. Okay, so this is the electrical resistance thermometer, works on the principle of Wheatstone bridge. Okay, so this is the circuit diagram. Okay, already you studied circuit diagram of Wheatstone bridge. With the help of the circuit diagram, so you have to explain the electrical resistance thermometer. So whatever experiment instrument is there, you have to give the interpolation formula. What temperature range is, which equation it follows. Okay, what is the principle behind it? You have to explain each and everything. So this is the resistance mercury in glass thermometer. Already we studied. Okay, see the mercury in the glass is the thermometric property. Okay, as the temperature change takes place, which causes the change or increase in the length of mercury inside the thermometer. Okay, that is the thermometric property, and it is a marked graduation. Okay, we are having the bulb at the end. Okay, so graduations are clearly marked, so we can easily measure. Okay, so most widely used instrument for the temperature. Okay, the mercury in glass thermometer. As I said, why the mercury is used as a thermometric, sorry, why the mercury is used as a thermometric fluid. Then they ask, because we are going to learn this manometric fluid in a fluid mechanics lab. Okay, that's why I'm giving the advantage of mercury. The first advantage is that, okay, it is having the lower specific heat, okay, and it absorbs the little heat from the source. First advantage is that it is having the very low specific heat, and it absorbs a very little quantity of heat from the source. Okay, well, suppose if you use other thermometric fluids, in that case they absorb a large quantity of the heat from the source. Okay, so this is the one main advantage of the mercury, means it absorbs very low specific heat, is having very lower specific heat, hence absorbs the lower quantity of the heat from the source. Okay, and second one is it can be conveniently seen. You can see it can be conveniently seen in the capillary tube. Okay, so suppose if you use some other fluids, it is very difficult to see the rise or fall of the liquid level in the thermometer. So you can easily or inconveniently seen in the capillary tube. Okay. And then third advantage is that it is very good conductor of heat and does not adhere to the walls of the tube. Okay, it is a very good conductor. So you are going to learn conductors in heat transfer subject in 6th semester. So the conducting materials are copper, silver, gold. Okay, these are the very good conductors of heat. On the other hand, wood, asbestos, plastic, these are all very bad conductors of the heat. Okay, so the mercury is very good conductor of the heat and does not adhere to the walls of the tube. Okay, next, and it has uniform coefficient of thermal expansion. Okay, so because of all these properties, okay, the mercury is used as a thermometric fluid. Okay, so this is the most important. What I am explaining is the important things, because we are going to learn the manometric fluid in fluid mechanics lab. It is, you are going to study in 4th semester. You are having a fluid mechanics theory and fluid mechanics lab in the 5th semester. So we are using the mercury in our lab in the manometric fluids. Okay, mercury. is also plays very important role, and the mercury is having high density. Remember, specific gravity of mercury is 13.6 and density of mercury is 13,600 kg per meter cube. So remember certain standard values. Okay, density of water is 1000 kg per meter cube. Density of air is approximately 1 kg per meter cube. Density of water is 1000 and density of mercury is 13,600. It's very heavy liquid as compared to water and air. Sometimes they may ask the definition of thermometric properties. Okay, so you have to explain like this: the temperature cannot be measured directly. Whatever the change in temperature which causes the thermometric property vary, and this effect is used as a measure of temperature. Okay, we remember in any system, it is not we are not going to measure the temperature directly. Whatever the temperature change in the system which causes the change in property. Okay, for example, in mercury glass thermometer there will be change in length. Okay, in uh, electromotive force, that is in thermocouple there will be change in electromotive force, EMF. And in case of radiation pyrometer, the intensity of radiation. And in resistance thermometer, the change in resistance. Okay, so these are the properties changes as the temperature changes in the system. So these properties are called as the thermometric properties. Okay, so you have to give the example. Mercury in glass thermometer, thermometric properties like. Okay, second one is the resistance, platinum resistance thermometer. Okay, resistance is the thermometric property. In thermocouple, electromotive force or EMF is the thermometric property. And finally, in radiation parameter, intensity of radiation is the thermometric property. So like that. We have to understand the concept. Okay, mainly you should remember. So what are the different temperature scale? How the temperature is going to measure? Okay, so I have solved so many problems. Okay, I'll take one electromotive force problem. Okay, so already we studied. Okay, still with reference to thermometer, how we are going to measure that electromotive force? You see. Already I explained. Okay, now I explain thermocouple. So the EMF in a thermocouple with a test junction. Okay, as I said, a thermocouple is an instrument. Okay, used to measure which follow this law. Okay, suppose if the equation is not given, you have to use the standard equation. And in this problem, they are given the equation epsilon equals to 0.2t minus 5 into 10 to the power of minus 4t square. The millivoltmeter is calibrated as ice point and steam point. What will be the thermometer read in a place where gas thermometer is 50 degrees Celsius? Okay. As I said, first step is you have to write the given equation. Epsilon is nothing but EMF. EMF is represented by epsilon. First, you have to write the given equation. Epsilon equals to 0.2t minus 5 into minus 4t square. And as we discussed, what is ice point? Okay, ice point and steam point are the standard points used in the measurement of temperature. Okay, and it's also called as freezing point. First condition is you have to put the ice point, that is t equals to 0 and epsilon equals to epsilon I. Now you are having the thermometric property. Epsilon I is the thermometric property at freezing point or thermometric property at ice point. Now we are going to substitute the value of t as 0 in the given equation. Okay, 0.22 into 0 minus 5 into 10 to the power of minus 4 into 0. That is 0 millivolt. At the boiling point, okay, it's like that. Mainly ice point and steam point are used as a standard fixed point. In rare cases, the antimony point, gold point, silver point, oxygen point are used as a standard point. Okay, but whatever problems we are having is mainly with reference to ice point and steam point respectively. And you have to remember the values of ice point, steam point in Celsius scale is 0 and 100, and in Kelvin 273.15 and 373.15, and in Fahrenheit scale it is 32 degree Fahrenheit and 212 degree of Fahrenheit. Okay, so these are the standard values you should remember. Okay, mainly with respect to Celsius scale only. At steam point, epsilon s, as I said, epsilon s is the thermometric property with reference to steam point. What is steam point? 100 degrees Celsius. Now we have to substitute the value of T as 100 and epsilon as epsilon s in the given equation. Okay, 0.2 into 100 minus 5 into 10 to the power of minus 4 into 100 square. We are getting it as 15 millivolts. Okay, and one more thing. So we found out the thermometric property at ice point and steam point, but in the problem they are given 50 degrees Celsius. This is the one intermediate point. This value also you have to substitute, and you have to find out the thermometric property at the given temperature. Whatever epsilon we got, this is with reference to ice point and steam point, but in the problem they are given 50 degrees Celsius. So we have to find out the thermometric property at this temperature range also. Okay, so epsilon equals to 0.2 into 50 minus 5 into 10 to the power of minus 4 into 50 square. Okay, so epsilon equals to 8.75 millivolts. Okay, now we got the three values 0, 15 and 8.75. But we have to find out the temperature. Then what is the temperature? What is the formula we are going to use? Okay, in the very first class I discussed the relationship between the temperature A and B is given by the standard formula. So you have to remember that standard formula, that is okay. You have to remember this formula. Okay. Relationship between this bottom equation, just you see T degrees Celsius equals to 100 into L minus Li divided by Ls minus Li. You have to remember this formula in the EMF. Okay, so this is related to your length as a thermometric property. Instead of L, just you have to change this formula as epsilon. Okay, so T degrees Celsius equals to 100 into L minus Li divided by Ls minus Li. So instead of L, you have to use the symbol as the epsilon. Okay, so you remember the standard value. Okay, so what we have 100 into L minus Li divided by Ls minus Li. The equation is same. Okay, don't change the equation. Instead of L, you have to substitute the value of L as epsilon. Okay, so T equals to 100 into epsilon minus epsilon I divided by epsilon minus epsilon I. What is epsilon I? This is the thermometric property at given temperature, that is at 50 degrees Celsius. Epsilon, we obtained it as 8.75. We have to take that value 8.75. Epsilon I is thermometric property at ice point. Okay, ice point we got the value as 0. Okay, and epsilon s is what? Thermometric property at steam point using T as 100 degrees Celsius. We got 15 millivolts. Okay, so in this problem, it is very simple. Only you have to remember ice point as 0 degrees Celsius, steam point as 100 degrees Celsius, and you have to remember this simple formula. No need to derive this one. Okay, only you have to remember the formula, and you have to remember this formula. You have to substitute, you'll get the temperature at 50 degrees Celsius. Okay, 100 into 8.75 minus 0 divided by 15 minus 0. So you are getting T as 58.34 degree Celsius. Okay. So whenever the gas thermometer reads 50 degrees Celsius, okay, at the same time the thermocouple reads a reading of 58.34 degrees Celsius. Okay, there will be a variation in the temperature readings. Okay. So hope you understood all the concepts. Okay, I covered all the concept, including the numerical problems in this chapter, module 1, the most important chapter. Okay, so you have to understand all the basic definition, like what is thermodynamics, what do you mean by macroscopic and microscopic approaches of thermodynamics, differences. Okay, next we studied thermodynamic system, different thermodynamic system like open, closed, and isolated system with the examples. Okay, next we studied control volume, control surface, boundary, surroundings. Okay, next we studied the definition of what is a thermodynamic process, the path, then state of a process, path of change of process. Okay, next we studied thermodynamic equilibrium, that is mechanical, electrical, and chemical, and thermal equilibrium. Okay, and next we studied quasi-static process or reversible process with illustration. Okay, next we discussed cyclic process and non-cyclic process. Okay, next we studied intensive properties, extensive properties, phase, okay, homogeneous system, heterogeneous system with examples. Okay, next we studied the temperature, the concept, scales, a measurement of temperature. Okay, next we studied the international fixed points, international temperature scale. Next we studied ice point, steam point. Okay, standard fixed points in the international temperature scales and numerical problems. So these are the contents of module 1. Okay, I covered entire thing including the numerical problems. Okay, any doubts in this chapter, in this module? Any doubts regarding concepts, numerical problems, etc.? Any doubts you are having?
No, sir.
Okay. Hope you understood all of the things. Okay. Now this one I'll give some assignments. Okay. Mainly numerical problems. So I'll post in the Google Classroom. All of you have to solve the problems and. Okay, I'll post the assignment. All of you have to solve the problems. Then only we'll come to know. Okay.